What's the worst legal thing you can do? I spent 15 years building the internet infrastructure for our small town in Nebraska. Everyone knew me as the internet guy. When your Wi-Fi went down at 2 a.m., you called me. When you wanted faster speeds for your home office, I was your guy. What most people didn't know was that I didn't work for some big company. I owned every cable, every tower, and every router box in town. I was the provider. Everything started falling apart when Jerry Davidson got elected to city council. This guy had been gunning for me ever since I refused to give him free internet for his campaign office 2 years earlier. At the first town meeting, Jerry stood up with this big presentation about bringing in competition. "We need options," he said, pointing at charts showing how much cheaper national providers were. "Alex has had a monopoly too long." The new company, NetConnect, rolled into town with promises nobody could refuse. Half the price, double the speeds, and a name people recognized from TV commercials. They set up a booth at the farmer's market, offering gift cards just for signing up. Within 3 months, I watched my customer base get cut in half. By 6 months, I had maybe 30 customers left out of 800. People stopped waving when they saw me around town. Mrs. Henderson, who used to bring me cookies every Christmas, wouldn't even make eye contact at the grocery store. At Pete's Diner, conversations would stop when I walked in. Some people actually laughed when Jerry made jokes about my outdated service during council meetings. I tried everything. Lowered my prices below cost, offered free installation, threw in premium channels. Nothing worked. NetConnect had poisoned the well. My savings account hit zero. My girlfriend Katie left me for some guy who worked at the bank. My business was circling the drain, and I was 3 months behind on my truck payment. That's when I started reading contracts real carefully. See, NetConnect had signed a deal with the city to run their fiber cables through existing infrastructure. They were using my utility poles, my access boxes, and most importantly, my signal towers. The contract gave them access, but only if I granted maintenance permissions. Jerry had been so excited to stick it to me that he never bothered reading the fine print. When the city originally gave me exclusive rights to install towers 15 years ago, I wrote a clause that let me shut down signal access with 60 days notice. Back then, it seemed like a smart way to protect my investment. Now, it was my nuclear option. I spent 3 nights going through every page of every contract. NetConnect's infrastructure piggybacked completely on my original network backbone. They never laid fresh lines because it would have cost millions. They just plugged into what I'd already built and called it an upgrade. On a Tuesday morning, I walked into City Hall and filed my 60-day notice to terminate signal access. Jerry was there picking up some paperwork and saw me at the counter. He asked what I was doing with a smug grin on his face. "Just some routine maintenance paperwork," I told him. NetConnect's lawyers showed up exactly 1 week later. 3 guys in expensive suits demanding to see my contracts. They spent 2 hours in the city attorney's office going through everything with magnifying glasses. The contracts were bulletproof. The towers were mine. The only way around it was to build entirely new infrastructure, which would take 8 months and cost about $4 million. On day 59, I sent out a mass text to everyone in town. "Reminder, internet service interruption begins tomorrow at midnight. Have a great day." The chaos started immediately. Schools went offline first. Kids couldn't access their assignments. Teachers couldn't take attendance. And the principal had to drive to the next town to send emails. Work from home parents packed up laptops and headed to Starbucks 30 miles away, only to find the place crowded with other refugees from our town. The hospital's patient record system crashed for 6 hours. Nurses had to write everything on paper like it was 1995. The police department's dispatch system died, so they went back to using handheld radios that barely worked half the time. By day 3, Jerry was knocking on my door begging me to turn everything back on. He offered to double my original city contract rate. I told him I wasn't interested and closed the door. By day 5, the whole town council showed up at my house. They offered triple rates, tax breaks, and a public apology. I said no thanks and went back to watching Netflix on my phone's hotspot.